Welcome to video 3 in the rock, paper, scissors series. In this video, we are going to wrap up the user interface for our application and then get us over to JavaScript. So, where we last left off, let's see. We had our header, rock, paper, scissors, which was the equivalent of an H1 in HTML tag. And then we actually styled that with our properties within the workspace, basically CSS properties. So all of this hopefully is familiar to you. We're just not dealing with the actual raw code. We're using drag and drop. Then we brought in 3 icons and we created the first one, rock icon, and then pulled that in from Font Awesome and set up the CSS properties accordingly. And then we used the duplicate key over here on the right hand side, which is very powerful, to create the other two. And then we just simply had to change the X position and then the image itself. So that's where we left off. We also set the background for the body of the application. So now we want to bring over another element. And this is going to be another text area, so I'm going to slide that over here, somewhere in the middle. And I think we're going to call this instructions. And we're going to put make your choice. So this is, again, part of the user experience. We're just instructing the user to what to do in order to play the game. Okay, so now with the instructions ID, we have make your choice as the text. We want the width, or please set your width, to be 205 pixels. That's, again, this element, this HTML element. And this might be equivalent of like an H4 or maybe a paragraph tag. We want the width to be 205 pixels and the height to be 30 pixels. And then we want the X position at 55 and Y position at 200. And then please change the text color to all Fs, or 255 across the board, and that makes the text white. Now, as you can see on my screen right now, we cannot see that. So we want to come down and use our old transparency trick again. So in the background color, I'm going to click that small square to the right-hand side, bring that up and slide the transparency all the way to 0. Okay, so now we see make your choice. Let's put the font family as Courier. Okay, and to finish this up, we change the background color to transparent. Now select Courier for the font family. Font size we want to be 12. Text align center, and change the border width from 1 to 0. And I believe that should be it for this element. So this element now has an ID of instructions, and we'll be able to pick that up using JavaScript if we need to. Okay. Now we need another text box. So if we go back to we have make your choice, we want now the computer selects. And what I'm going to do is we're going to come on over and choose our duplicate friend here. You want to make sure that you're in the element that you want to duplicate. So that's instruction. And hit duplicate. And now I could come on over. That's now recognize this text area 3. And drag it just a little bit away. Okay, so now we're going to change that ID to computer choice. And then that's our identifier for the code. And then the text to show the user, we're just going to type in the computer selects with a colon. Now, we want the width of this to be 200, height to be 30, X position 10, Y position 270. Text color, we want white. Background color, we want the transparency. And what you may notice now is we're not changing a lot of this because this is from the duplication. So Courier is the font family, font size is 12, text align center, and 0 is the border. So all of that should have copied over, so that duplicate key really is a nice feature. Okay, so we now have to put an icon right next to that. So let's put a temporary placeholder there. And in order to do this, I'm going to go back up to the scissor icon. And once again, let's choose duplicate. And we're going to drag image 4. Now notice when I'm hovering over that, the duplicate is the image 4. That's the one we want to grab. And bring it down just around here. Okay, and now we want to change this ID to computer icon. Very important here that we change the ID because this one we're going to change based on code. And the user's not going to change that. It's going to be random selection by the JavaScript engine behind the scenes based on an event of the choice selected by the user. So we're going to name this computer icon in the ID. And then width, we want to change. Remember, we copied this from above, but we want this to be much smaller. So we want width of 50 pixels, height of 50 pixels. X and Y position should be 210 and 255. We do not have to copy the image because, or change the image. This is going to be a placeholder, so we're just going to put the scissors there temporarily. And again, that will change with the code. Icon color should stay the same because we copied it. Contain should stay the same. Border width is 0. So again, that duplicate key really helps us out. All right, so now I think we have just one section left to go. And that is going to be another text area. So I'm going to come up to the rock, paper, scissors title. Again, I'm going to use duplicate. And I think it happened one too many times. Yes, so I'm going to delete text area 5. And you just want to make sure that you're getting the right ID number, the right element. So let's delete 5. We're going to come back up here, grab text area 4, and drag it down below, right here. Okay, and now for this text box, just like in the past, we want an ID that dictates kind of the purpose of this HTML element, this rectangle. So we're going to put in the ID results output. Then we want width to be 320, height to be 50. But now what we want here, we want to take out the text. And we want that to be blank because we are going to dynamically change what appears there with JavaScript. So right now this is going to be blank. Width is 320, height is going to be 50, the X position is 0, Y position of 400. Text color we want to keep as white once we do populate that. And then background color, we want a little different shade. So we want 393053 for the hexadecimal color. Lucinda console should stay the same. Font size 30, text align center. So just make sure you have all of that set up. Okay, so just one more check on results output. Blank text, width 320, height 50. X position 0 all the way to the left. Y position 400 down towards the bottom. Text color is white. We've got our background color, a different shade. Hexadecimal 393053. Font family stays the same as the heading at the top. Lucida console. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Font size 30. And that's going to, we want to set that now so that when we dynamically change the wording that appears there, it's coming in at font size 30, even though there's nothing there. And we want that dynamic text to be centered and border width of 0. So at this point, congratulations, you've completed the user interface of rock, paper, scissors. So in the next video, we're going to begin building out the JavaScript logic so that we could actually set up the game to have the user interact and make their choice, and then the computer will randomly make the selection, compare the two results, and give output. So it may not look like it a lot from the user's point of view, but behind the scenes, that is quite a bit in the JavaScript settings. So we'll get to that in the next one. See you then.